Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using the second paper pad that's included in Not Too Shabby's June 2024 Paper Pad Club. I've already shared a video using the first paper pad, which is called By the Shore, and in this video I'll be using On the Sunny Side. And the paper pad does include cut apart sentiments and images, so it makes it really easy when making cards. If you are interested in signing up to Not Too Shabby's Paper Pad Club, I do have a link in the description box below. So let's go ahead and get started with card design number 1. I will be using card sketches for inspiration. If you're interested in any of the sketches I show in this video, I share all of that information on my coordinating blog post. The link is in the description box below, or you can simply head over to KristieMarcotte.com. For my first card, the card sketch is from Mojo Monday. This is sketch number 558. I selected 2 pattern papers for the background, cut them at an angle. The top paper has fun pink sunglasses, and the bottom has pink looking glitter paper. Although it's nice and smooth, there's no glitter on this paper. I layered both of the pieces on some black cardstock, and for a little bit of contrast and to cover up that seam between the 2 pattern papers, I'm adding a Love from Lizzie peel off. This is the black color in the pinstripe style. I wrapped the ends around the back, then layered that piece on some pink cardstock. Put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. For the small rectangle on the left side of the card, I used the pastel polka dot paper, layered it on the same pink cardstock. For the narrow strip on the left side of the polka dot paper, I'm using some light yellow cardstock. Before adhering it down, I will add some scrap pattern paper and cardstock pieces at the very top and bottom, just in the areas where it goes off of that polka dot panel. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere it in place. I will be using one of the sentiment cut-aparts, Fun in the Sun, and I love that it has an image of a sun wearing sunglasses. I'll layer that piece on some gold mirror cardstock. Figured that was appropriate with the beautiful sun image. Before adhering it down, I did add a scrap cardstock piece on the right side, just where it goes off of that yellow strip on the left side. For a final finishing touch, I'm adding 3 mini circle peel-offs in the upper right-hand corner. This is the black color, and I'm using the largest size circles. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. The other card, the 2 background papers are reversed. When I use a card design like this with the 2 pattern papers in the background cut at an angle, I like to make a second card since I already have those other 2 pattern paper pieces all ready to go. For card design number 2, the card sketch is from Freshly Made Sketches. This is number 310. For the background of my card, I'm using some white shimmer cardstock, and I selected 2 pattern papers. For the larger panel, I'm using some of the gold glitter looking pattern paper. And for the small horizontal panel, I'm using the light pink pattern paper that has lots of sun images. I'm layering all of the pieces on gold mirror cardstock, so this card will have lots and lots of shine. At the bottom of the card, I'll add some Love from Lizzie peel-offs. I'm using the pink color, and that'll help tie in some of the pink from the pattern paper and later the cut apart image I'll be using. This is the pinstripe style. I'm using the medium and the narrowest width. I like to cut the peel-offs just a little bit wider than my panel. That way I can wrap the ends around the back. Now I'll put ATG tape on the back and layer this piece on the gold mirror cardstock. My white background layer is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and the gold mirror cardstock is A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Now I'll put my card front onto a card base. Before adhering the pattern paper with all the different sun images, I'll add a scrap cardstock piece on the very right side where it goes off of the gold glitter pattern paper. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere it in place. For a sentiment, I'll be using another cut apart that's included in the paper pad. It's always summer somewhere. I've already layered it on some of the gold mirror cardstock, and I'll adhere it on the very right side of the sun pattern paper. Next, I'll add one of the sun image cut aparts. The sun is wearing sunglasses. On the back of the sun, I did add some foam and also some scrap cardstock pieces. And I'll adhere it in the lower left-hand corner. For embellishments, I'm adding some gold sparkle crystals. These are made by Studio Katia. I'll add 2 in the upper right-hand corner and 3 around the sun cut-apart image. The crystals don't have adhesive on the back, so I'll first add a small drop of Barely Art glue, pick them up using the wax tip of Scrapbook.com's Craft Pro Pick tool, then press them in place. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I think the sun image wearing sunglasses is so fun. Perfect for a summer card. For card design number 3, the card sketch is from Cards TV. This is sketch number 33. For the 3 narrow strips on the background, I'm using 1 sheet of pattern paper. It features the ice cream cones on one side and the pastel polka dots on the other. I'll put the 2 ice cream strips on the right and left side and the polka dot strip in the center. And I'm layering the papers on some bright pink cardstock. For the narrow strip that goes across the card, using some light yellow cardstock from my stash, put adhesive on the back and adhere it in place. Now I'll put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. For the image box, I cut it out of white shimmer cardstock, and I'll layer it on the same pink cardstock. Before adhering it on my card, I will add some scrap cardstock pieces above and below where it goes over that narrow strip of yellow cardstock. And that will help keep it nice and level. Without those added cardstock pieces, sometimes you can see a dip where it goes off of the other layers. And since I always have scrap pieces of cardstock lying around, this is a great way to use those up. I'll be adding 1 of the sentiment cut aparts and 2 of the image cut aparts. The sentiment is "Summer is a state of mind." And the images both feature some yummy frozen treats. I'll layer the sentiment on the same pink cardstock and adhere it in the lower right-hand corner of the image panel. For the image cut aparts, I will be popping them up with some thin foam dimension. I'm using the small square foams from Scrapbook.com. This is their 1 millimeter thickness. I'll put the ice cream bar above the sentiment on the right side and the ice cream cone on the left side, and I will have the very bottom of the cone sitting on the sentiment cut apart. So I made sure not to add any foam dimension there. I'll remove the release paper and add just a little bit of glue at the bottom of the cone. Then adhere it above the sentiment. For embellishments, I'm adding some white pearls, and these are from Studio Katia. I'm trying to use up some of this older bling I've had on hand. At one point, I stocked up on tons of jewels and pearls. I don't use them very often, since with the extra bulk, I would need to pay additional postage if I mail the cards, but if I'm taking them to the residents at a nearby retirement home, I can add as much dimension as I want. And I think this set of cards will be perfect for some summertime hellos. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 4, the card sketch is from Mojo Monday. This is number 531. I selected 3 pattern papers. For the background, I'm using the pastel polka dots. For the larger panel on the left side, I have the light pink with a bunch of sun images. And for the narrow panel on the right side, It features lots of the different pattern paper designs, but in small triangles. I'm layering all 3 pieces on some bright pink cardstock. I'm not worried about the cardstock layer at the bottom of those 2 rectangle panels since it will be covered up with the sentiment. Now I'll layer the background piece on the bright pink cardstock, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Along with the monthly Paper Pad Club, Not Too Shabby also offers a stamp and die of the month club. And for the sentiment, I will be using the stamp set. This is called Summer Sunshine. There is a coordinating die that goes around all of the images and sentiments, but I won't be using the die. I stamped the sentiment Sun, Sand, and Smiles. I'll cut a fishtail on the very right side, layer this piece on the same bright pink cardstock. Then using my scissors, I'll cut that fishtail layer on the right side. Before adhering the sentiment at the bottom of the 2 narrow pattern paper panels, I will add some foam on the very right and left side. I could probably add a small scrap piece of cardstock on the back side as well, but the area on the left side of the sentiment will be covered up with some cut apart images. I'll remove the release paper, put glue on the back of the rest of the sentiment strip, and adhere it at the bottom of the 2 pattern paper panels. Next, I'll add one of the image cut aparts. It features 2 of the frozen treats. I've already put foam dimension on the back, and I did leave a gap where it'll be sitting on the sentiment strip. Then I'll adhere it on the left side of the sentiment. For embellishments, I'm using Love from Lizzie peel-offs. This is the mini circle style in the pink holographic color, so they're super sparkly. I'll put 3 in the upper right hand corner and 2 on the left side of the image cut apart. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 5, the card sketch is from Mojo Monday. This is number 559. I selected 2 pattern papers. One features lots of different summary icon images. I'll layer it on some burgundy cardstock. The other pattern paper has the pink glitter design, and I cut out that piece using a stitch square die. For the background of my card, using some craft colored cardstock, I'll add the summer panel at the very bottom of the craft cardstock piece. Layer it on the same burgundy cardstock. Then I'll put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. For the glitter square, I'm layering it on some white shimmer cardstock, so it'll add just that little bit of shimmery detail around the pattern paper. I put ATG tape on the back and also some glue. Want to make sure that stitched edge lays nice and flat. And I did place a large acrylic block on top for some added weight while the glue dried. Before adhering the square, I will add a scrap cardstock and pattern paper piece at the very top of the square. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere it in place. And instead of using that large pattern paper scrap, I probably could have dug out some thin cardstock, but since it was sitting right on my desk and I knew I probably wouldn't be using it, I knew it would be perfect to add that additional layer underneath the glitter square. For a sentiment, I'm using one of the cut aparts. This is Happy Summer, and it has a little sun on the right side. I'll layer it on the same burgundy cardstock, adhere it on the pink glitter square. Now I'll add 3 of the image cut aparts, and I've already put foam dimension on the back. I'll put 2 strawberries in the lower left-hand corner of the sentiment. I'm using the 2 different sizes. And I'll add a pair of sunglasses above the sentiment on the right side. Using a small scrap piece of burgundy cardstock, I'll cut a small banner. First cut a fishtail on the bottom, then cut the right side in slightly at an angle, flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere it in the upper left-hand corner. For embellishments, I'm using more of the gold sparkle crystals. I'll put 2 on the banner in the upper left-hand corner and 3 in the lower right-hand corner. I like to pour out just a small amount of the crystals in a wooden bowl. That way I can easily pick through them and find the different sizes. I'll add that small drop of Barely Art glue, and I'm picking them up using Scrapbook.com's Craft Pro Pick tool. With some of the pattern paper scraps, I will add them on the inside of the card just for that little extra detail. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. Now here's another look at the 10 cards I made using Not Too Shabby's June 2024 Paper Pad Club. In this video, I used the On the Sunny Side paper pad, and in a previous video, I used the other paper pad that's part of the club. It's called By the Shore. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I will link the other video at the end of this video. Both of the paper pads that are included in the June Club are perfect for some fun summery cards. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.